A very good afternoon to you, my brothers and sisters. This is Albert Baldeo, the elected community leader and advocate of the largest diaspora outside of Guyana here in New York City, and also a former prosecutor, magistrate, and senior police legal advisor in Guyana. I want to shed some light on this issue that has grappled the entire world, the MV Barima tragedy. The 3 charges for murder that were instituted today are very, very shocking. Not because they don't fit the definition of murder, but because it's going to create a lot of prejudice, mayhem, chaos, and take away from the real substance or other facets of this inquiry that must be flushed out and that must be ventilated. For one thing, there's no felony murder rule implication there. The captain and these 2 members of the boat, the crew, they did not set out to kill anybody that day. There's difficulty in establishing an intent to murder. There's also difficulty to prove an intent to commit a felony. And the rule is that if in the pursuit or committal of a felony, a murder results, then that would be murder, largely, under the felony murder rule. But the problem we have here is that a mental intent is not there. That does not mean that they're not liable for some other offense that fits the definition of their recklessness or negligence. I believe that the charges are wrong. They are not going to stand up in court, and they're going to create unnecessary diversion, confusion, and prejudice, because these may be the very witnesses you need to get to the top, to get to what really happened and who were involved in this. Who were the people who were using the boat as their personal transportation and carrying cargo and large lumber that should have been carried on a barge. They're using and misusing and abusing and bribing their way with the ferries and causing people to be put in harm's way. So that is a particular instance that the Director of Public Prosecutions, who has the sole jurisdiction of criminal charges, must revise those charges and institute the right charges, and not focus the attention on 3 scapegoats, as has been complained to me here in New York, that they found the first 3 scapegoats, the captain and 2 other members of the crew, charge them for murder, and expect that this will then go away. It doesn't work that way. This is a process of investigation. This is a process of complete, divulgence and going into research into what really happened today to prevent other mishaps. And toward that end, I've compiled a list for brevity to show that this commission of inquiry that we have, this is what the COI has got to focus on immediately. And that is, who authorized the number of passengers and quantity of cargo? Who prepared, checked, or disregarded the manifest? Whether stability calculations were completed? Whether the vessel was properly maintained and inspected, and whether known defects were reported and solved or repaired? Whether the vessel's certification was justified and who did that? Whether replacement or repair recommendations were delayed. Whether officials, contractors, and supervisors exercised operational controls. Whether emergency and rescue procedures were adequate. And whether decisions by shore-based management contributed to the deaths, meaning whether the other folks were involved in this. And of course, we have to find out the major inquiry: why weren't the docks completed for the Melissa, which we bought for $12 million, a lot of money? Why wasn't that completed? Towards that end, these are what the Commission of Inquiry must focus on. This is what we need to get to the bottom of. This is what needs to be done. Not diversions and confusion and, sensationalism. The Commission of Inquiry is tasked to do a job. We should not be jumping ahead of it, but at the same time, we should not be failing to implement reforms, immediate reforms in Guyana's air, water, transport, road. These are reforms that must be complied with immediately. And I will talk about this in my next video.